Welcome aboard the Innovation Express. My name is Carson Keller, and you are listening to the Inspiration Station podcast, brought to you by the Chang Institute for Entrepreneurship. On this limited series podcast, we will take you on the journey of unleashing your inner entrepreneurial mindset. You will hear inspiring stories from changemakers and innovators alike who have blazed trails and chartered their courses to success. We will showcase the dynamic entrepreneurial ecosystem at SFU while giving you an opportunity to dream and take full control of your future so that you can make an impactful and long-lasting change. So get ready to be inspired, challenged, and motivated on your journey to Inspiration Station. Let's dive into the episode. Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the Inspiration Station podcast. My name is Carson Keller, and I am so excited to welcome you aboard the Innovation Express. For today's episode, we are going to sort of flip the script right away and sort of have a different person interview me, just so you can get to know me a little bit better, figure out what are we going to be doing on this podcast. So without further ado, let's introduce our wonderful host for today. Maycko is charismatic, enthusiastic, present, and keeps a touch of sarcasm in his back pocket for all the right moments. Aside from that, Maycko is also a community builder, communicator, and thriving plant dad. As the manager for events and community engagement at the Chang Institute for Entrepreneurship, his goals include curating events that put the Chang Institute on the map, all while building community connections along the way. Aside from the day job, Maycko's personal passion project is researching all the tropical houseplants that also have cultural ties to his Filipino heritage, as noted by an interview on CBC. Maycko has recently been more involved in the Filipino community and is excited to learn more about creating spaces and programs for that community. This has led Maycko to working on a side project that has focused on supporting Asian millennials in their mental health and wellness journey through self-reflection and journaling. When he's not doing those things, Maycko is heavily involved with the International Association of Business Communicator, British Columbia. For the past 2 years, he's been the Director of Students and New Communicators and has recently been nominated to Vice President for the chapter of the following board year. Maycko is willing to listen and is always seeking out new ideas. So, without further ado, I welcome to the Inspiration Station podcast, Maycko. Hello!
Hi, Carson. Thank you so much for that wonderful intro.
Of course.
Too kind of you.
Thank you for being here.
Of course, I'm happy to be here, and I'm really excited to see what you're kind of doing with Inspiration Station and, this whole project. I think we're going to go on a really incredible journey.
I think so as well.
I think you're going to take us on a really incredible journey.
I hope so.
And so this whole episode is just focused on getting to know our host for the series, really understanding what's making you tick throughout every single episode. And I've absolutely adored, even though it's only been a month so far, I've absolutely adored working with you. And I know that our listeners and anyone that's watching who gets the opportunity to watch is gonna absolutely fall in love with you and throughout this journey.
Thank you very much. It's very kind of you to say.
I mean it. Maybe let's start off with, tell us more. You are Carson Keller, but who is Carson Keller?
That's me. Well, my name is Carson Keller, and I'm currently enrolled at SFU. I am in my 4th year of the Bachelor of Business Administration major program. I am focusing in Human Resources Management, and I just recently completed a extended minor in Contemporary Dance.
Congrats.
Thank you. And that was at the School for the Contemporary Arts. And you might be wondering, oh my goodness, what an interesting pairing, right?
Yeah.
Not many people do that, and actually, from what I've heard, no one has ever done that before. So I was the first person to ever do sort of business and dance at SFU for credentials, which is very exciting. And you might be wondering what brought you to the arts and business. Well, I have been a dancer for my entire life. Art has been a very big part of, I guess, who I am. I was introduced to it at a very young age. And when I graduated high school, typically when younger dancers sort of leave the competitive space as a dancer, you don't really have as many options to continue training and pursue education sort of very closely together. So I was like, oh my goodness, SFU has a dance program, let's pursue it. And so I did that, and here we are. It was a great opportunity for me to sort of train on a very professional scale, gain some great connections in the contemporary arts industry in Vancouver, and I guess really hone into the fact that I know I really want to have art in my future somehow, some way. And I don't know how I was going to do that until I sort of realized I'm doing a business degree on the side, and there are so many different opportunities available to me. How can I take advantage of that? And that's, I guess, where we find ourselves right now.
Okay, thanks for taking us on that journey so far.
Of course.
I've heard a lot about, you've also told me a lot about everything you're doing with dance and how involved you still are, even though you finished your extended minor program. I think for a lot of those listening right now, they might be sort of thinking, okay, like how does dance play? How does the contemporary arts play into all of this? This podcast that's focused on entrepreneurship and innovation and opening up this whole world for them.
Yeah.
Where are you seeing that intersect, and how are you hoping to guide everyone that's listening through this journey through your lens?
Thank you for asking that. I think that's the focus of what this podcast is going to be about, because what I think a lot of people are really nervous about, or it might bring about anxiety, is when you have an idea about where you want to take yourself in the future, you might not know how to take yourself there, or what options are available to you to sort of pursue that journey. And as an artist, or I guess as anybody with a dream, I sort of have to find a niche. I have to hone into what it is that I want to do, and there's only one way that I can do that, and that is by making change, and it's by being an innovator. And those words, they might not necessarily apply to everybody. They might not think they apply to everybody, but they really do. Because in order to make change, in order to innovate, you have to have that mindset of going forward in a way that is going to make an impact, and it is going to be pivotal. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think I like that you're hinting towards sort of this mindset. At the Chang Institute, we've got the entrepreneurial mindset.
We do.
I think we're working with you in this journey of learning about every single attribute of the entrepreneurial mindset, and we're seeing it come through with you as you work through your co-op. It also sounds like prior to getting to this co-op, you have done a lot of self-reflecting in your own arts journey of realizing that the arts is also a place for innovation, right?
Yes.
Potentially other listeners right now might be thinking, oh, the arts is the arts. There's no reason why innovation, quote unquote, or business, quote unquote, has a place there. Walk us through your journey in terms of how you landed in realizing that there is an intersection there and there's actually space for people to innovate within the world of arts.
Okay.
From your own personal experience.
Yeah, for sure. I recently just did I was an artist in residence at a gallery called the James Black Gallery. It's in Vancouver. And that I think was a very eye-opening experience for me, in the sense that when you make art on a very big platform that is being displayed to a lot of people, you want it to land. And in order to make it land, sometimes you have to do the impossible, right? Because given where we are in our society, everything, I'm making air quotes here for those of you just listening, everything has been done. And you kind of have to find a new way of doing something, or making something that no one's ever seen before. And in order to do that, you have to open your mind to all the possibilities that are available to you, and taking advantage of your skills, taking advantage of your background and what you've done before to really make that change, I think is the most important thing. And that is sort of the realization that I made in my residency. And I've carried that with me ever since in all the practice that I do, whether it be in art, whether it be just in my personal life, or just anything that I take on. Making impactful change is so important.
Yeah, I love that you said that, and how in order to make that change, you have to understand the lens that you carry moving forward, understanding, like you said, the skills and the background that you have.
For sure.
And I think, thinking about the entrepreneurial mindset in this case, I want to just sort of inch us even closer to understanding where you're at in merging the entrepreneurial mindset with your own journey of the arts. If you could share with us, from the entrepreneurial mindset attributes that come off the top of your head, are there any that are really sort of resounding for you that have helped you bridge this gap, or come to a really cool place of being able to say arts is for everyone and everyone in the arts can be an innovator. There's opportunity for that and anyone can make change. Go ahead.
Right off the top of my head, the first one that pops into mind is collaboration. How are you going to bounce ideas off people and gain valuable insights to contribute to your insight if you're not collaborating with others? Another thing that pops to mind is tolerance of ambiguity. That is one that I feel like I've recently learned a little bit more about, but it's one that definitely does hit home, because in order to be successful, you've got to work hard. And sometimes there are going to be roadblocks on the way. Sometimes there are going to be sudden right turns, sudden left turns. There are a lot of boundaries that you're going to have to overcome, and being tolerant of that, being aware of that, and being ready to take those things on is another really important step for you to take to arrive at that successful place, whatever it may be. In my case, being an artist. In someone else's case, it's finding the cure to a disease that took over the world, or something along those lines. There's going to be a lot that comes in the way, and I think that's one that really does come to mind.
We've landed in a place where Carson is, I'm actually gonna draw onto a story that when we had first met in person.
Okay, yes.
Yes. Before that evening, I mean, can we agree that before that evening you'd say you were entrepreneurship was not in your path?
Not at all.
Okay.
I didn't even consider it.
The night we had met at the Coast Capital Venture Prize award ceremony.
Yes.
It was the award ceremony. We were presenting winners and runners up with their cash prizes and just having the community together in place in person. And honestly, that was the first time in a very long time we've had that many people together.
I felt the energy. I felt the energy.
Buzzing.
So exciting.
It was incredible. And I remember you saying before you had left that you're now entrepreneurship curious and you're so excited to start your co-op. And this was before you had started your co-op with us.
True.
So now we're labeling, or we're attaching this idea of being entrepreneurship curious for Carson. We're at this spot where we're starting this journey for you in understanding and meeting a whole bunch of the people that we've been able to support in our programming for a while. Where's your head at in starting this journey? And what are you excited for? What are you even hoping to learn, if anything? Just, the floor is yours.
I feel like there's a lot that I could say about this question. And just sort of approaching it from where I was before being introduced to the world of entrepreneurship and innovation. I didn't know that this was an option that you can really go down. And there's one thing that I think I've learned heavily from being exposed to the world of entrepreneurship, even for just an evening, is that it's about taking the label of being a business student out of the entrepreneurship, because you don't need to be just a business student to be an entrepreneur. You don't need to have a crazy invention to be an entrepreneur. You don't need to go on Shark Tank to be an entrepreneur. These are things that I find are very surface level items. They're huge, but there's so much more that you can unpack about being an entrepreneur. If you want to make a change in your industry, you're an entrepreneur. Yeah. If you want to make impactful change as an artist, you're an entrepreneur. If you want to, if
you want to do anything,
literally, if you just want to, if you want to do something in a new way that hasn't been done before, you're an entrepreneur. You're an innovator. You're a change maker. Yeah. And these are all attributes and words that are tied to the entrepreneurship realm.
Yeah.
And I think on the evening of the Ventureprise Awards ceremony is when I learned that, because there were all of these different groups that came together and presented not only these products, not many of them were products, a lot of them were different ways of considering things. A lot of them were ways to support each other as a society to grow. These are innovators. These are our change makers. And I think that there are so many people in our audience who are hesitant to call themselves an entrepreneur as well, but I would argue that they are, because I know there are so many creative individuals out there that have all these amazing ideas and such inspiring ideas, and they want to make a change, but they don't know how to. And the Charles Chang Institute for Entrepreneurship is the place to come to for that.
I love that you've said that, because even in the short month that you've been with us so far, it took me a couple of years to realize, you don't technically need the business training, quote unquote, to be able to make the changes that you're looking to see. A lot of our programming supports, helping everyone who hasn't had that formal business training. We're working on that and helping and sharing that information with everyone. For anyone that's also curious, and you're very lucky to have this opportunity to explore on your own journey through this podcast, understanding more deeply what the entrepreneurial mindset is and how that can manifest itself in different paths of life. What are you saying to someone who isn't a business student, wants to make change, but doesn't see themselves as an entrepreneur quite yet?
Well, I will first tell them that you are an entrepreneur, and then I would ask our audience who might be curious or wondering where they can take this to ask questions, whether that be commenting below, reaching out to members of the Chang Institute. There's a wide variety of people who are willing to help you out and answer your questions. Attend a workshop, attend a fireside chat. These events that we put together for that exact reason. We're here for the students. We're here to help you grow, and we're here to help you realize that anything is possible and anything is worth trying and anything is doable.
That's lovely.
That's lovely.
That's lovely. No, sorry, I'm usually so sarcastic, so hearing that come out of my mouth for anyone that works with me is are you mocking me right now? I'm not. Maybe not just people I work with, but definitely people that know me in my personal life. But I think that's absolutely lovely. Brilliant, whatever word you want to insert in there. I think a lot of the times when we see folks who are decorated or celebrated for their entrepreneurial journey and things like that, quite often the biggest differentiator is maybe two differentiators, I would say. And what I've seen over the past couple of years is, number one, they listen. And number two, they go and do it. And I think if you can give yourself the opportunity to try one of those two things, you'll find that you'll end up doing the other. And so I think that's really cool, because I'm mindful of time, so I think we're gonna start closing this off.
Yeah, for sure.
But this is where this podcast sits. The very beginning, end of the first episode. You're doing both of those things. You're doing this podcast. You're going on this journey. And you are listening to the stories of the people who have gone out and are doing it, no matter how far along they are in their journey, right? Do you have any expectations? Where do you expect this to go? What are you excited about?
I'm really excited to be on this journey. And quite literally, I have zero expectations, because given that I'm at this very important place to make a decision about what I want to do with my future, I'm really excited to hear the stories of how people have, achieved their dreams and the steps they took and where they're at now because of all the effort that they've made. And yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that closes it off for now.
I think so too.
We are all excited for you. I know there's an entire team supporting you in this. wants to know what the next steps might look like, Carson's going to be taking over. He is your host for Inspiration Station on the Innovation Express. And we'll come back at the end. Do you want me to tell them?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come back at the end and I'll do another close off. I'll do a close off with Carson.
Just like this one today.
And Krysta, you're coming. And we're just going to debrief. We're going to talk about this journey and we're going to share with everyone what you've learned from your own personal journey.
Yes.
Cool. Any questions? Anything else you'd like to say?
None at all.
Cool.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much for listening. I think that we need to extend our gratitude to the audience just for pressing play today.
If you're still here. I'm kidding. You are still here. Wait, come back.
Like, comment, subscribe, please! Thank you so much for being here today and for starting us off on the right foot. I think that it's been wonderful to sort of introduce to our audience what we're going to be doing and helping them realize where I'm at right now, and that I feel like a lot of other people are in this exact same place. And I'm really excited to be on this journey. I hope our audience is excited to be on this journey. And yeah, thanks again. This has been absolutely fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, and I'm super excited to see where all of this goes.
Yeah!
All right.
Until next time.
On Inspiration Station.
This has been
a blast.
Yeah.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow.